Do you know these tits, Errol?
I know a lot of tits, Governor, but I don't know any quite as stupid as these two.
How much time? 30? 30 seconds? I'm on right now. I don't believe you.
Run.
What?
Who do we have in the chat? Who was first? Was it the show? Sorry, it's hard to see. The poll is obscuring whoever's top in the chat. But I do see the shouty bloke there. Graham Turner as well, Davinia Robbins. JK as well. Awesome to see you. Yes, PMQs and Keith's Catchphrases returns. Should be a pretty entertaining one, seeing as it's been the worst week for Keith since he took office. Worst week yet again. Yes, 180 in the membership goal. Did actually get to 184, I think, on the last stream, but a few people haven't renewed. A lot of you have, though. In fact, I may as well go the full hog and thank all the members. This is the hot off the press latest updated list. Okay. Really pleased to have gotten to 180 members as well. So thanks again for all your support. You can help support this stream and the channel by hitting the thumbs up button. Super chats are also open. Super stickers as well. Super thanks if you're watching back later. And there's a buy me a coffee page in the description of the stream, or any other content on the channel, which we do hope you'll share on your social media. That blank space is deliberate. Just pointing that out. Certain members' names don't come up on the spreadsheets because of obscure characters. There's nothing we can really do about that. There's another one. Okay. Stall's almost closed. But just want to remind you all about the hype feature, this fairly new, fairly recent hype feature, which is coming for YouTube, for videos and streaming, I believe, so. When you're logged into your account, you get a certain amount of points with which you can distribute as you please on your favourite YouTubers, such as hopefully this channel. And there is a ranking list, and obviously the higher up the ranking list, the more the algorithm will do to help you reach a wider audience. So please do hype some of our content. If you hit the thumbs up button and like, look just underneath where the thumbs up button is, depending on which country you're in or device you're on, it will ask you if you want to hype the video. I can't remember what the quota is. It's some thousands of points. But that doesn't mean that you can hype thousands of videos. In fact, Graham Turner's already run out, as we can see in the chat there. So yes, good people, I bid you now open up a new tab, open up some of our content, or even do it on this live stream if you're listening live, watching live. Hit the thumbs up button and then hype the video if you haven't used all your points. And good point there, Graham. Yes, you get a weekly quota or allowance. So please do consider helping to support the channel. Yeah, do give us a follow on social media as well. Please, preferably Blue Sky, at MyLeftEye UK, also on Mastodon. Still have a Twitter account that I believe we are still using. But thinking of joining this Upscrolled, has anybody gone on that yet? What's it like over on Upscrolled? Could it be the new Blue Sky? Can Blue Sky be the next Twitter? Currently known as Twitter. Let us know. Or we'll just go on Trustpilot or something, I don't know. So what's coming up on stream? Obviously, Prime Minister's questions, Heath's catchphrases. Should be quite a lively one, we're hoping. And we do have debutantes, a new contender who won the polling for who should be the next contender. This is a viewers voted catchphrase, and the catchphrase is clear, so they'll be making their debut this evening. Oh, it's very exciting, and there is a currently locked, well, we haven't even started yet, but there will be a locked hidden feature as well. Depending on what the opposition are saying, Also got some of the latest polling. Of the latest, some more information on Gorton and Denton by-election, as well as the by-election results in Pembrokeshire, actually, to discuss. Pam Bondi's been testifying to Congress, so that's been quite something from what I understand. I do have a clip or two to share with you later on, but I was sort of watching some of it live for, you know, dipping in and out. Had it on in the background for a little as well, as you do, earlier on, and God, she's something else. She really is something else. It's unbelievable. You wouldn't think that she was testifying in Congress. You'd think that she was having, I don't know, an argument in a bar after throwing back too many cocktails at fucking 3 in the morning, whatever. We are closed. It's time for you to leave, Miss Bondi. Anyway, more about that later on. A bit of a look at a recent Channel 4 Dispatches documentary as well, that I'm currently trying to work my way through. Been a busy old week so far. But that concerns the prescription of PAL action and how then Home Secretary Yvette Cooper came to the ridiculously draconian decision to prescribe a non-violent direct action group. Some of it confirming things we already knew, but then when you just see the absolute affront to due process, consideration, even simple logic and understanding, I would say it beggars belief, but look at the party that we're talking about, look at the people who are in charge of said party.
Hello.
Andy Carter is in Thouse. Nice to see Andy. Solidari-Tea, brother. Let's see who else has been joining us in the chat while I've been yapping away. Doc Davies. I don't know if can't remember if I gave you a shout out. So yes, there is a poll as well. Whether this will be Keir Starmer's last PMQs or not. Say you aye or say you nay. Currently the nays have it with 67%, but very, very early into the stream. You know, you wouldn't be surprised if within the next week it happens. It'd be easy to say you saw it coming. It's just whether it'll go by choice or by a leadership challenge. Not if but when, the title of our latest video. Do check it out as well. Come back to the poll later. Let's kick off with the first comedy clip though. This is the latest from Jonathan Pye. We're going to have a slice of pie. Don't forget, people, he's a character played by Tom Walker. Nice fella. Met him briefly. So let's have a slice.
A stay of execution. One backbencher told me they'd never seen the Prime Minister as passionate as he was at last night's meeting with his parliamentary party, adding that last night Keir Starmer was almost a completely different person. Back to you, Sophie. I wish he fucking was a completely different person. I mean, like literally somebody else. running the country. You know, but in lieu of someone else, when do we get to see this new Keir Starmer, this completely different person? You know, what's he going to do? How's he going to woo us back? Sing us a tune, do a card trick, set light to his farts whilst whistling God Save the Queen, King? Because, you know, it's going to have to be pretty fucking spectacular to regain any kind of dignity. I mean, how can he regain any authority or respect or regain the ability to govern effectively again? I mean, he's never really been able to govern effectively, you know, almost from day one. Political malpractice at almost every turn. End the chaos. That's what we were told. Change. An end to the revolving door of Whitehall and the constant U-turns. An end to incompetence. That's what we were told. And what did we get? Started right out the gate with free suits and freezing pensioners, and it soon went downhill from there. Labour's prison reform involved the accidental early release of sex offenders whose visas had run out. The homelessness minister, done for making her tenants homeless. The anti-corruption minister, done for corruption on a massive scale. The housing minister, done for underpaying tax on a house purchase. And of course, Peter Mandelson, Prince of Darkness, returns again as our top diplomat, even though he was a known acquaintance of known paedophile Jeffrey Epstein, the only man in history who would have made Jimmy Savile jealous. And on the back of that, the fourth direction of communications in a year is gone, as well as his second chief of staff after Sue Gray, who lasted all of 3 minutes. But, if McSweeney had to go because of the Mandelson appointment and Tim Allen had to go because of the Mandelson appointment, then it stands to reason that Starmer has to go because of the Mandelson appointment, right? If the person who advised you needs to go, then surely the numpty that took that advice has to go too.
And there's been another one today, hasn't there, where someone's been sacked for recommending someone to the House of Lords turned out to be complete and utter nonce. I mean, it's just everywhere. Like everything they touch or get associated with turns into a sex offender. You couldn't script it.
What is strange though, right, is McSweeney is Starmerism, but McSweeney is also a product of Mandelson. Morgan McSweeney was born of Peter Mandelson. McSweeney was Mandelson's protege, and Keir Starmer was born of McSweeney. They are all cut from the same cloth. But, right, forgetting for one moment Mandelson telling state secrets to a paedophile whilst hanging out in his house whilst not wearing any trousers, that aside, Mandelson, and by proxy McSweeney, and by proxy Starmer, represents a political culture that has dominated Labour for a generation, which has left it a husk, a Labour Party hollowed out. Mandelson oversaw a Labour that chose to completely detach itself from the lives of the people it was created to represent. Labour, the clue is in the title. A party that abandoned the working classes in favour of the middle classes, who abandoned economic equality for identity politics. A party that waxes lyrical about extreme poverty, but is far more comfortable whining and dining billionaires, lobbyists and corporate power, eschewing working men's clubs for private dinners. A party captured by a political class whoring themselves to donor networks. A Labour Party that sidelined moral judgment and favoured managing optics and money markets rather than challenging the status quo or redistributing wealth and power. Labour has for some decades been millimetres away from completely losing its moral authority, and if it carries on the way it has been, it will soon have lost its right to govern. And they will have left the door to number 10 wide open to forces far more sinister, but presumably far less incompetent. Yeah, okay. Thanks, Sophie. Coming up, we'll be taking a look at the rest of the week's weather. But before that, let's take a look at all the latest from the...
You can't argue with that, people. Jonathan Pye. I'm going to stick a link in the description or stream. So do go over and subscribe. Check out some more of his excellent content. Although I would question whether the character, Jonathan Pye, voted Labour at the last general election. But very good points nonetheless. And do head to jonathanpye.com as well. Really good live show from Jonathan that I've had the great experience of being present at. jonathanpye.com. A good point there in the chat in response to Graham's Keir Starmer loves his country. But which country? Good point, Doc. Israel does have that right. Water and electricity. Yes, they do. How was that improvised Nick Ferrari voice there for you? Oh, Andy, awesome. Andy did a hype. Whoop whoop. Big up, big up. Great stuff. Yeah, this is a new feature, so I'm still having to remind myself to ask you to use it on streams and stuff. Probably going to have to change the end bit on our main videos as well. Who knows? And to be honest, that was recorded with the pre-upgrade microphone and it sounds a bit tinny and shit. This is quality. This is quality streaming, people. We're in Classic 480, for goodness sake. I mean, has there ever been such a classic resolution? No, but we're going to be going into the further ventures of HD. And it'll be a matter of days, not weeks, very shortly actually. As I did say, we were looking at gearing up towards the end of February. So yeah, follow Andy Carter's excellent example, please people. Hit thumbs up on some content and hype the video. Oh, thanks for the feedback on the improvised Nick Ferrari voice as well. You can hear the redness in his face. Let's get going, people. This might be a lively one, so we best get started. Time for PMQs and Keith's catchphrases.
Oh no!
Oh yes, you absolute muppet.
We now come to Prime Minister's questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Deliver. Black hole. Plan for change. 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 Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, people, what's this all about? I can see quite a lot of regular viewers, subscribers and members in the chat, but I'll go through, blast through the rules very quickly. For anybody who's not familiar, nice and simple. We pit two phrases or words against one another, ones that Keir Starmer uses very regularly in the House of Commons and in interviews in a repetitive robotic fashion, with perhaps the most limited vocabulary, what a word to get wrong, Jesus Christ. With perhaps the most limited vocabulary that we've seen from any Prime Minister of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. How does it work? Obviously the phrases or words have to be spoken by Keir Starmer himself. It's a winner stays on format. Last week's winner, who was it? Oh, it's Change. It was Change. who will be challenged by Clear, making their debut this evening. So it's a winner stays on. Variations on the word are allowed, word or phrase. For example, past tenses, pluralisation, that sort of thing. Where the league is concerned, because there is a league overall, where formats are concerned, and it's 3 points for a win, 1 for a draw, and nothing for a loss. In fact, let's take a look at the current standings. Hope we're all clear on the rules. Any questions, just ask in the chat. You'll get the gist of it. It's nice and simple. We just keep count of each word or phrase as we go along. Even Kemi Badnock could understand it. It's that amazingly simple. And at the top of the league, who hasn't played for a few weeks though, but currently still leading the way with 12 points, is Security, garnering 12 points from 5 appearances with 20 mentions. Horseman Twat in second with Deliver. Budget in third. Fourth, the current champion on a streak of 3. Beg your pardon, on a streak of 2, because they played one other and drew. So currently on a streak of 2. This is the third time. Time for 3 in a row. For change, with 7 points, actually equal on points with Budget, but with fewer mentions. Planning 5th, and then very quickly the bottom half. No points on the board for Deal in 6th, Fix in 7th, Black Hole in 8th, Inheritance in 9th, and in 10th place, but possibly not after this week's game, is new contender Clear, the only contender yet to play. So let's see how it works out for the debutantes. That's the viewer selected contender as well, by the way. Andy Carter certainly thinks that Clear has got some potential as a contender. Well, let's see if they've got legs. Let's get into things in a moment. Good evening, Lost Missionary as well, just joined us in the chat. So let's crack on, people. Over to Lindsay Hoyle. Done by brain, flannel by mouth. Lindsay Hoyle.
So I'm now going to move on to Prime Minister's questions, but before I do, I would like to welcome the President of Parliament, the Speaker himself, and I've got to say thank you to his delegation for arriving with us today from Estonia. So first of all, we now go to one said Toby Perkins for Prime Minister's questions.
Number 1, sir.
Prime Minister.
Don't forget, people, we have a hidden feature. Let's see which word or phrase will trigger it.
I just said I didn't know the Prime Minister was that popular on this side.
Oh, no, he's off with the gags already. Shit.
Mr. Speaker, can I start by saying this? My thoughts, and I'm sure the thoughts of the whole House, are with the 2 children stabbed at Kingsbury High School in Brent. And my heart goes out to everyone affected by this appalling attack. We thank the police for their rapid response. It's important now that we give them the space to pursue their investigation. And Mr. Speaker, this morning I conveyed the UK's deepest condolences to Prime Minister Carney and the people of Canada for the devastating shooting in Tumbler Ridge.
Yeah, so double stabbing here in the UK, and I believe 9 people now, confirmed killed in that appalling incident in Canada, which is very, very rare for Canada. It's very strange that they do have similar customs, very similar culture in many ways to the United States of America. However, there are obviously statistically significantly more high school shootings in the USA. The main reason for this is mostly the different types of media that they have in the country, for example, and other issues. But yeah, that's very, very rare. It's believed that the female assailants took their own life in the process as well. I've not really heard much more about it in the last few hours or so, to be honest. But of course, these two incidents are completely tragic.
Mr. Speaker, I'm determined to fix the broken SEND system. No parent should have to fight for the support their child needs. Today we announced a 10-year plan to fix the crumbling school estate that we inherited, delivering a more modern and inclusive classrooms that meet the needs of every child.
I was just thinking that Fix would have got off to a good start, and then he hit me with a deliver trigger.
Mr. Speaker, this morning I had meetings with Minister.
Okay, let's just let it roll.
There's been quite a few of those
Won't interrupt so
this
much.
week. In addition to my duties in this House, I shall have further such meetings
I'll try and
later
talk
today.
over more than stop him.
Thank you. I'd like to associate myself with the Prime Minister's remarks there. The Prime Minister's commitment to 1.5 million more homes will require 48,000 new entrants to the construction industry every year. In Chesterfield, we're doing our bit. The Construction Skills Hub brought 70 new entrants into the construction sector.
You're going to need a lot of migrants to build these homes, aren't you?
Last year. But we need a step change. We need numbers to double. So can the Prime Minister tell the House what steps he is taking to get more people to commit to construction industry careers and get those numbers up where we need them to deliver on his housing ambitions?
Well, we're not going to train enough people in 3 years.
The task of rebuilding our country is a huge opportunity to give young people a brilliant career. And we're backing apprentices with a record £3 billion budget. And we're making sure companies who bid for major contracts commit to high-quality apprenticeships here in the United Kingdom. And, Mr. Speaker, we're creating 30...
Where to begin? Like I just mentioned there's not going to be nearly enough workers in the country, skilled, trained workers already, to fulfil those demands, and they're certainly not looking at building social housing. That's one of the other critiques, obvious critiques, of this 1.5 million home bullshit scheme. Therefore, you're going to have to draft in workers from abroad. Otherwise, you're going to be left with amateur. I mean, I'm not knocking apprenticeships or apprentices, but sometimes the quality is somewhat lacking with those, and it's been seen in the past. That, as well as trying to ditch a bunch of regulations and cut red tape for the sake of getting things through quickly, is just going to be a recipe for disaster, Keith. You're going to have to get foreign workers in. There's no two ways about it. Otherwise, you're never going to make your 1.5.
13,000 new opportunities for young people as plumbers, engineers and bricklayers, securing their future and rebuilding this country.
We come to the Leader of the Opposition, Kemi Bendel.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And can I associate my side of the House with the Prime Minister's words on the horrific stabbing in North London yesterday, as well as the shooting in Canada? When he was Leader of the Opposition, the Prime Minister said, and I quote, "I never turn on my staff.
Emma Richardson, nice to see you in chat. How do you brew?"
Carry the can." What changed?
Prime Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I've accepted responsibility and apologised for the mistakes that I made. But let me say this, Mr. Speaker. Morgan McSweeney helped me change our party and helped me win a landslide election victory, which delivered for them the smallest Tory party in over 100 years.
1-0.
And what's her great achievement? To make it even smaller.
Can we not?
The champ's off to a good start there, people.
The Whips have done a great job today. This is like the 37th. Oh, he said, yeah, exactly. Done a great job today getting them cheering. We all know that they've been sick for the last week. Because let's remember, Mr. Speaker, just last week, he told us that he had full confidence in his Chief of Staff, Morgan McSweeney. On Sunday, he sacked Morgan McSweeney. Last week...
It's open goal season for Babnock now.
Yes. Last week...
The thing is, obviously, when Starmer's backed in a corner, as he certainly is this week, it's very easy, like shooting fish in a barrel, very low-hanging fruit. However, we are then left with having to suffer Kemi Badenoch in full-on smug mode through these proceedings, and he makes it very easy for her, or he has done in the last few days or so.
Last week, Mr. Speaker, he was defending the Cabinet Secretary. Now he is sacking him. What changed?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, in January, she said she had full confidence, 100% confidence, she said, be no more defections from her party. 48 hours later, the Shadow Foreign Minister defected.
The deflection awards are
8
here.
days after that, the former Home Secretary defected. The only question now is, who's next? She needs to wake up. Her party is dying.
God, who writes that
Mr.
crap?
Speaker, the Prime Minister is demonstrating stratospheric levels of delusion if he
But
thinks
to
the
us,
problem is on
he's
this
just
side of the House. And he didn't say anything about why the Cabinet Secretary is going. We know the truth. It is because he is throwing everyone under a bus except himself. And, Mr. Speaker, the Mandelson episode was not an isolated incident. A few weeks ago, he announced a peerage for one Matthew Doyle, his former Director of Communications.
Yeah.
Immediately after that, the Sunday...
Oh, God, I'm yepping Kemi Badenoch. That's just how bad he is. Still don't like her. She's absolute shite. Open goal season, though, undeniably.
Times published on the front page that Doyle campaigned for a man charged with child sex offences. Yet, despite the Prime Minister knowing this, he gave Doyle a job for life in the House of Lords anyway. Why?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Matthew Doyle
Because
did
he's a
not
dick.
give a full account of his actions. And on Monday, I promised my party and my country there would be...
Got so many bridges to sell you then, Keith. We're going to get the same excuses as we did for Scandalson, of course. That he was lied to. He was like, it turns out you just can't trust people who have the nickname the Prince of Darkness, for example, these days. What's the world coming to? And then again, they just weren't honest. In that, well, do you ever think to investigate? Do you ever think to find out more about their reputation, background, this kind of thing? Speak to previous colleagues? Perhaps turn round and say, there is just this one nagging thing here, Peter. And of course, they would call him Peter.
But to us, he's just Peter.
Why do they call you the Prince of Darkness? You'll forgive me for thinking that it might be considered a little risky putting you into this position when you have somehow earned that moniker. No, just they never even consider the notion. They don't think to think of those things. How naive. Gullible isn't in the dictionary, Keith.
And yesterday, I removed the whip from Matthew Doyle. I'll tell you what other action we've taken, Mr. Speaker. Along with the Safeguarding Minister, I and this government have introduced the most far-reaching violence against women and girls strategy. And I'll tell you what else we've done. This government
The most far-reaching vile?
What other action we've taken, Mr. Speaker? Along with the Safeguarding Minister, I and this government have introduced the most far-reaching violence against women and girls.
That's what he said.
And I'll tell you what else we've done. This government has introduced a pay rise for millions of working-class women. What did the Leader of the Opposition do? She opposed it. This government's introducing greater protection for women at work. What did the Leader of the Opposition do? She opposed it. And I'll tell you what else she opposes. This government removing the disgusting rape clause that they put in place.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister pretends not to know about matters.
Says the defender of fucking Rape Island resident or tourist. God. Get real, Keith. Whilst I'm paused, thank you very much to MIDI Doctors for 5 gifted memberships there. And great shot there with Lost Missionary in the chat, being one of the recipients. Top shots. Top shots. Bullseye. Please big up MIDI Doctors in the chat, please, everybody. Awesome stuff. Verified. We have them there. In italics in the chat. New starts, Dominic Jones, Ursa Zosa, and Pitchforks are coming. Hope you all enjoy your perks. Thanks again, MIDI. Big up, big up.
It was on the front page of the Sunday Times. He cannot explain why he gave this man a peerage, and I think they should be wondering why they're still cheering for him after that. And the Prime Minister, sometimes likes to claim, as he just did, that he cares about violence against women. The truth is, he only cares about the victims when he's trying to save his own skin. They can shake their heads. We saw it with
Andy as well,
gangs.
thanks for another gifted membership. Awesome stuff. Please, brat, big up Andy in the chat, please,
Isn't
people.
That what a former prosecutor would
Solidari-Tea.
call an established pattern of behaviour?
Mr. Speaker, I'm going to take no lectures from the top.
Please forgive me, just rewind a few seconds in case I missed a hidden feature word. Just a few seconds.
He only cares about the victims when he's trying to save his own skin. They can shake their heads. We saw it with grooming gangs. We saw it with Mandelson. And now we see it with Doyle. Isn't that what a former prosecutor would call an established pattern of behaviour?
Mr. Speaker, I'm going to take no lectures from...
Ew, I'm so smug. Yes. Again, super easy, but unfortunately correct.
The Tories in standards in public life. She defended Partygate for months and months and months. And even now she says it was overblown. The Shadow Foreign Secretary broke the ministerial code by bullying. Boris Johnson kept her. The Leader of the Opposition promoted her. She sits on her front bench.
Look at fucking Priti Patel there thinking she's got room to talk. You could stay in a sedentary position and shutteth the fucketh up, motherfucker. Oh, this Starmer. You are Priti Patel. Fucking Google yourself.
Her former Shadow Justice Secretary complained about not seeing enough white faces in Birmingham, and she was too weak to sack him for racism.
Nobody buys it, Mr. Speaker. Not even the Labour women, because they know he always puts the Downing Street Boys Club first. And how...
Oh, that's awesome. Somebody else in the chat got one of the gifted memberships as well. New starts. Awesome. Really have got some accurate aiming with the gifted memberships this evening. Keep it up, people. Have as many shots as you like.
How dare he criticise us? We weren't the ones stuffing government with hypocrites and paedophile apologists. He can't build a team, Mr. Speaker. He has no plan. He can't even run his own office, let alone the country. He is now dealing with a new scandal of appointing someone who campaigned for a man convicted of having indecent pictures of girls as young as 10.
Fuck off.
Isn't the Prime Minister ashamed that that will be his legacy?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, that was a revolted fuck off, not a I don't believe you fuck off, by the way. Oh, God. And these are the sort of people who get through Starmer's vetting process, is it? Yes, now you mention it, Fred West patio didn't quite look like that the last time we were here, but I'm sure that's fine, even though several women and girls have gone missing in the local area recently. I see no potential connection between the two.
My legacy is changing my party and winning a general election. And I'll tell you this, I kicked my former leader out of my party. Her former leader lives...
What? It's gloating about it now. Not even talking about the transformation of Labour, blah, blah, but straight up saying it. I kicked him out. And that is something that Starmer thinks is gloating and not confessing. My God, the neck on this man. Unbelievable. And look where that's led you to. The lowest polling of any Prime Minister ever. A loveless landslide out of what? About roughly 50-ish% turnout. Ridiculous. But something that isn't ridiculous and is in fact quite excellent and awesome is another gifted membership that's just landed in the chat. Lost a Missionary. Thank you very much for that. 187 now. Let's just change the total. Solidari-Tea. Pew pew. And was the recipient in chat? Let's see if it's another direct hit. Where was I? Oh yes, I was pissed off with Keith for usurping Starmer. But look at the vote counts. Look at the vote counts, Keith, if you want to know the truth of the matter. And look at the polling for socialist policies compared to this Tory hogwash that you've been offering up for the last 18 months. You wanker.
Trust, broke the economy and has descended into bonkers conspiracy theories. I kicked her out of Parliament. She's too weak to kick her out of their party.
Mr. Speaker, he hasn't apologised for appointing Matthew
as well,
Doyle because...
Sorry, just quickly before they go back to Doyle, he's probably there. He's probably right there. And I'm not sure if he'll get... It'd be interesting if he gets a question this week with Starmer having said that. But he's right there staring you in the face. He's done it before. They've slagged him off before when he's been in the House, in the chamber. So, yeah, what a wanker. What an absolute bastard. Because it was a very good thing at one point, the Labour Party, unfortunately. And look at it now.
He won't take responsibility. He never does, and they know it. The Prime Minister is now telling everyone that he's never lost a fight. It's because he won't step into the ring. He's never lost a fight. He's walked away from welfare reform. He won't stand...
Yeah, he's never fought anyone who didn't have a knife protruding from the back that was placed there by him and others, for example. Did I miss a change? Good ears there, Andy. Was that from Keith? I'll take your word for it, because we've got to crack on. So that'll be 2-0 now.
Stand up to the unions. He won't stand up to China. He can't even stand up to Mauritius. He's had, Mr. Speaker, he's
Chagos
had
Islands.
3 cabinet secretaries, 4 chiefs of staff, 5 director of communications in just 18 months.
2-0.
And now he is mired in yet another scandal. Does he ever look in the mirror and ask himself, is the real problem staring him in the face?
Mr. Speaker.
Ooh, she was just deliberating whether that counts as a variation on the hidden feature. And I'm thinking out loud, which is almost a giveaway. But yeah, change the party. I must have missed that one in my rage at Starmer's gloating of what he did to Corbyn. Thanks for pointing it out in the chat though, Andy. I'm going to say no, the hidden feature remains locked for now, as to what I was deliberating.
A landslide victory for our government. Only 4 people have ever led the Labour Party to victory in a general election. I'm one of them.
Piss off. what was it, about 18% of the vote? It wasn't a great, no, sorry, it was higher than that, but still low for vote share, for turnout. So many people sat at home. Landslide. Ridiculous. And now you're fighting for your job a year and a half later.
When she talks about numbers, let us remember, Mr. Speaker, 5 Prime Ministers, 7 Chancellors, 8 Home Secretaries, 8 Foreign Secretaries, 16 Housing Secretaries, all completely useless, all failed Britain, and this Prime Minister's clearing up the mess. She comes here every week desperately fighting to save her dying party.
Clearing. I'm going to allow that, so the debutante is off the mark. 2-1 now. It's game on.
To change our country.
And a change. It is game on. Okay, let's rock. 3-1 now.
Waiting lists down. Child poverty down. And I'll tell you another thing's down. The number of Tory MPs.
Your polling, your approval rating. That's down as well, Keith.
The government has delivered the funding needed to rebuild the new Frimley Park Hospital after the party opposite made empty, unfunded promises to my constituents. Now we urgently need to get on with announcing the preferred site, along with the investment needed to improve public transport, road access and parking. Will the Prime Minister urge NHS England to make this a priority and help give much-needed clarity to Bracknell Forest residents?
Oh, how did that get on screen?
Mr. Speaker, delivering the new Frimley Park Hospital is a priority. Under the party opposite,
I suppose we'll have the customary cutaway shot to Streeting, as we always do, while he nods away like a little prat. There we go, right on cue.
And the funding to match. And the Trust are making real progress on the business case. And I want to see spades in the ground as quickly as possible.
Said David, leader of the Liberal Democrats.
Mr. Speaker, can I associate myself with the Prime Minister's remarks about the dreadful stabbing of 2 children in Brent and about the horrifying shootings in British Columbia? Our thoughts and prayers are with the children's parents and the people of Canada, especially those grieving the loss of loved ones. Mr. Speaker, to appoint one paedophile supporter cannot be excused as misfortune. To appoint 2 shows a catastrophic lack of judgment. The Right Honourable Gentleman once told this House that when a Prime Minister refuses to take responsibility, and I quote, "It only serves to convince people that things cannot get better, that governments cannot improve people's lives, and that progress is not possible because politics does not work." Does he still agree with himself? And does he share my fear that that is exactly what is happening now?
Minister.
People in this country, millions of people, have been let down for years and years and years. And one of the reasons was austerity, which his party supported.
It's going to be 100% deflection, isn't it? He will not address anything pertaining to himself the entire time. He's going to point at the Tories. If anyone from the Green Party asks a question, he's going to start slugging off Zach Polanski. What was the last one? A bunch of drug-addicted, what was it? And then if it's the SNP, he's going to go off on an anti-SNP rant. Even though Anas Sarwar himself is worried about what's going to happen in Holyrood in May and called for his resignation this week. So, yeah, a total lack of responsibility. This is pure cowardice from Keith.
He should take accountability and take responsibility for what he has inflicted on this country.
And again, couldn't have timed it better. That's very rich coming from you about responsibility and accountability. By God, it's so predictable, isn't it? Or am I just on fire tonight, people? You can be the judges where that is concerned.
Mr. Speaker, I think I touched a raw nerve. But I think the whole House will agree that the Manson scandal has shown yet again why we need a duty of candour for anyone and everyone in public office. Mr. Speaker, there should be no more delays in putting the Hillsborough law on the statute books. After the long fight by the bereaved
Well, that came out of
families
nowhere, but
and
I
so many others,
do agree with that.
like the Mayor of Greater Manchester. The Prime Minister once said it would be one of the first things he did in number 10. Will he finally do it now?
No,
Even
he won't.
if it's the last thing he does.
Oh.
The panel report in the Hillsborough case was when I started working on the Hillsborough case. That was in 2012.
They still haven't had justice, Keith. And in the Northwest, this is something that we take quite lightly here in Manchester. We stand in solidarity with our friends in Liverpool over this, and always have done pretty much, my whole life. So, get something done whilst, a lot of the victims' families are now no longer with us. A lot of the people, the senior police officers who were responsible, some of them have passed away, so they won't even see justice. And now a lot of them think that they won't, and it's because of him, Mr. Former Director of Public Prosecutions. Just a complete letdown. So justice for the 97 victims of Hillsborough, absolutely, is our clarion call. But unfortunately, don't expect to get it from this man.
And his party were in power. And they could have passed this law a long time ago and saved a lot of grief. I'm proud that this Labour government is bringing in a Hillsborough law, something I've committed to for a very, very long time.
Richard Quidley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
It's retroactive.
As the Prime Minister will have heard me say, the Isle of Wight is a fantastic place to live, work and learn, despite the leader of the opposition trying to give us to China. He will also be aware of some of the challenges we have in cross-Solent transport, reliability, frequency and price. The emissions trading scheme, which ironically only applies to hybrid vessels, may increase fares further. Despite exemptions granted for Scotland and Northern Ireland, the lack of grid capacity to fully decarbonise, I am deeply concerned about the impact on our island community. Will the Prime Minister urgently ask DESNZ ministers to review this issue?
Minister.
Well, thank him for his question. I know how important affordable ferries are for his constituents' everyday lives. The ETS scheme will make journeys cleaner, and we're working with ferry companies on the grid connections in ports that enable greener vessels.
In some European and Eastern countries, they have trains that can go hundreds of miles an hour. You can get from one side to a vast country to the other in mere hours. Here in the UK, we debate dysfunctional ferries, which is not exactly a new technology, and the same goes for our rail systems and other public transport facilities as well. We have it slightly better here in Manchester. I'm not trying to gloat. I'm not standing on a soapbox and shouting Andy Burnham's praises, but we do have it a bit better. It just goes to show, though, how behind the times we are. Excuse me, Keith. The ferry doesn't work. Oh well, we'll look into someone to come and fix your ferry if that's what you want. Just it's just where we're at. Dragging us into the 21st century here, Keith.
Make sure that he gets a meeting with the relevant minister.
Stephen Flynn.
Mr. Speaker, if I've just listened to the Prime Minister correctly, he's essentially
2025's parliamentary powerhouse of the year winner. This should be good, especially considering what's happened this week as well. Always a good show from Stephen Flynn of the SNP.
rolled the same pitch in relation to Matthew Doyle as he did with Peter Mandelson, that they weren't clear with him. He appears to be the most gullible former Director of Public Prosecutions in history. But he has a slight problem, Mr. Speaker, because some of us do read the newspapers. And towards the end of last year, indeed on the 30th of December, having written to the House of Lords Appointments Commission, I received a response from the Chair. who advised me that as part of their vetting, they provide confidential advice to the Prime Minister on the propriety of a potential nominee. Will he release that advice?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I've made my position for clear. He knows how the system works. But, Mr. Speaker...
Ooh, was that a clear? I think he sort of tripped over his words as he said it a bit, but I think there was a clear in there.
Will he release that advice?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I've made my position for clear. He knows how the system works.
Yeah, he just fucked up the perfectly before the clear. So that's 3-2 now.
But, Mr. Speaker, he says he reads the newspapers. He will have read that in 9 days their former party chief executive goes on trial for embezzling money. And if he'll have read that the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, we see one of the worst failures in Scottish public life. Vulnerable children and adults put at
and
risk.
What did I tell you?
Evidence of
What did I
serious
tell
warnings
you?
to the SNP government were ignored. He should have been looking.
You know. Call me prophetic, if you like, but that was prophetic, by the way. Yeah, just straight into bashing the SNP, not addressing the question as to whether he'll publish the advice. Of course, he's not going to publish the advice. This absolute chicken rat bastard wouldn't dare do that, because that would just completely expose how obvious it was that someone with the nickname the Prince of Darkness might not have been the best person for the position. And whatever happens with Anasawa from here on out doesn't even come into it. The SNP are going to totally wipe the floor with Labour in May.
Looking at those, not looking at the newspapers, the First Minister should act because families deserve accountability.
Can I just remind the Prime Minister we don't discuss live cases because it's subjudice. Anna Dixon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Last week I met Leighton, a T-level construction student at Bradford College.
Oh, no.
He was working on the remediation of wreck at Airedale Hospital. In the last few years, Bradford has made tremendous progress in reducing the rate of young people not in employment, education or training. So will the Prime Minister reconfirm his commitment to vocational and skills training and set out how this Labour government is ensuring that young people like Leighton have career opportunities in construction and other critical industries?
Prime Minister.
Well, I thank my honourable friend. Leighton's success is a testament to what young people can achieve with the right
Just assume
support.
that they're not polling very well around
Creating
there.
technical excellent colleges and delivering training places for 60,000 skilled construction workers. And Labour's creating opportunities for every young person whilst building the homes, the schools and the hospitals that our country needs. And that's what I'm fighting for.
Rebecca Smith.
Last year, Plymouth was named the National Centre for Marine Autonomy and given a defence growth deal. However, the SMEs in the unmanned surface vessel sector, many based at Turnchapel Wharf in my constituency, are having their work...
We need more war. Prime Minister, can we have some more money for some more war? Of course you can. How much do you... Here's £50 billion. No questions asked. Don't ask where it comes from. Just help yourself.
held back because of out-of-date regulations from the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency. Last week, I was told that draft regulations exist, but that they require primary legislation. Now, without these new regulations, many of these vital SMEs developing autonomous vessels that have dual commercial and defence use are at risk. So, Mr. Speaker, will the Prime Minister show some backbone and consider finding a slot for primary legislation as a matter of urgency, or at least consider adding it to the King's speech later this spring, assuming that he is still in charge of the legislative programme by then?
Mr. Speaker, we are taking action, but in the particular case she raises in her constituency, if she sends me or my team the details, I'll see if there's anything we can do to support what is obviously an important issue.
Steve Race.
I don't think you're going to get that in the King's speech. I think that was a bit optimistic, to be honest.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister will be aware of Lorraine Cox, a resident of Exeter, who in 2020 was murdered by a man whose asylum claim had been denied but who is not removed from this country. Would the Prime Minister set out what more this government will do to make sure deportations of people who have no right to be here and of those who have committed criminal offences will be sped up? And would he meet with Lorraine's father to discuss the family's campaign for justice for Lorraine?
Prime Minister.
Well, my honourable friend raises an awful case, and My thoughts and those, I'm sure, of the whole House are with the loved ones of Lorraine. Tackling violence against women and girls is a critical mission, and I'll make sure the Home Office Minister meets the family. I want to be absolutely clear, Mr. Speaker, illegal immigrants who commit
It's
such
an equaliser.
acts should not be in this country. That's why we've already removed nearly 60,000 people with no right to be here.
Well,
and deportations of foreign criminals is up by a
debutantes.
third. We're also reforming human rights law
Certainly
to
got something
allow us
about
to
them.
swiftly remove
3-all
those
now.
with no right to be here.
Lord Glover.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My Oxfordshire constituents are sick of widespread potholes, particularly at Milton Interchange, Didcot and along the A417 serving Challow and Stamford in the Vale. Yet the government is cutting funding for Oxfordshire County Council.
In Oxford mostly pedestrianised in the town centre, from my understanding. Yeah.
By £24 million over 3 years, which is equivalent to its...
The posh boys don't like the jumped up roller skates, suspension, getting slightly knackered from to go up. Yeah, that's what I'm getting from this.
Annual highways maintenance budget. The Prime Minister is of course entitled to dig a pothole for himself, but why is he cutting funding for Oxfordshire's roads?
Prime Minister.
We put record amount of money into dealing with potholes. He needs to ask his council, run by his party,
Cheaper public
why they're not
transport might
using
be an
that money.
incentive.
Douglas McAllister.
It's a source of great pride to Scottish Labour MPs that as Chancellor, Gordon Brown lifted more children out of poverty than any other Chancellor before him. It's also a source of great pride that this...
Order. Mr Flynn, you don't need to go behind. I can still hear
Whoa.
your voice is louder than mine. Douglas
bit loud there.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. It's also a source of great pride that this torch is now passed over to our government, and by removing the two-child...
I thought when he said order the third time, it was order, you fucking cuts.
benefit cap, we will lift more children out of poverty in a single parliament than ever before. 2,260 children west of Bartonshire, 95,000 in Scotland. Does the Prime Minister agree that this demonstrates true Labour values in action across Scotland and the UK?
That's a perk of being a
on
member,
this
by
side
the
of
way.
the House, Mr Speaker, we know the damage that growing up in poverty does to the life chances of children.
Isn't
The
features
Tories
not
put
been unlocked yet
hundreds of
either?
thousands of children into poverty, and they'll live with that for the rest of their lives. We are undoing their damage. Our decision will benefit almost 100,000 children in Scotland as we deliver the largest reduction in child poverty in any single parliament.
Lera Wilson.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. The manslaughter of baby Gigi Meehan at a nursery in Cheadle. 21 counts of child cruelty at Riverside Nursery in Twickenham Green in my constituency.
That's in Cheshire.
56 charges of sexual assault and creating indecent images at a nursery in Camden. And just this week, 21 counts of sexual abuse at a nursery in Bristol. Mr Speaker, CCTV was critical for convicting the criminals in most of these cases. So will the Prime Minister ensure that no parent ever has to fear for their child's safety while they go to work by introducing mandatory CCTV in nurseries and a childcare workers register?
Prime Minister.
Can I thank her for...
It's fucking horrible that things have to come to this now, you know, in nurseries, and God, what does it say? What does it say about society? And yeah, unfortunately, it's in a minority, but you can never be too careful. Unfortunately, these days, that case is absolutely horrendous.
Raising these cases, and they're harrowing cases for everyone in this country. The safety of children is, of course, paramount, and we're acting to keep them safe. We're implementing all the proposals consulted on to strengthen safeguarding as part of our early years foundation stage framework. Expert group developing guidance on the effective use of CCTV, the point she makes, and considering whether it should be mandatory in early settings. And I'll make sure that she's updated as we take that work forward.
Catherine West.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. 126 years ago, this House legislated to make Alexandra Palace available for the free use of the public forever. And last year, Luke the Nuke changed darts forever by rewriting the record book.
Just before they get on to Luke Littler, Good point there in the chat, Graham. Financial sector's robbing the public of £3,000 per person per year. You can do your own maths yourself, depending on when you came into adulthood, but that just about sums it up. Awesome stattery there from Graham. And yeah, I'll try and check out Richard Murphy's stream as well. Put that on the watch list. Thanks for the recommendation. So what's this about Luke Littler? It's kind of strange. We started the stream off on 180 members, so we had to do the pun, and now this question's come up. It's pretty foreboding, wasn't it? Pretty prophetic. That's the second time I've used the word prophetic on the stream as well.
Today, Ali Pali plays host to World Championship Darts, Master Snooker, Haringey Huskies, Greyhounds for ice hockey, plus music, comedy, drama and more. Will the PM today keep the Palace competitive as the international venue for darts by supporting my campaign to raise a one-off, public-private £500 million investment for urgent capital improvements?
Prime Minister.
Can I thank my honourable friend? The People's Palace is an iconic British venue, a home for darts, snooker and world-class music.
Alexandra Palace, yeah, Alexandra Palace. They're talking about the venue, I think, has been in disrepair for some time.
Vital that we support brilliant venues that give so much to our cultural life. And that's why, Mr. Speaker, we're providing almost £200 million to preserve heritage buildings across the country. So venues...
And of course, lest we forget, while it's PMQs, instead of building a new parliamentary building, this ancient crap heap, they would prefer to renovate at a huge... What was the cost? But it would take 61 years. It would take 61 years to complete and cost many, many billions of pounds.
Like Alexandra Palace can have a bright future.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Last week, Stark Bay was devastated by storm damage, homes and businesses wrecked, and an important A road severed. Thousands who used it to commute to school, work and healthcare are stranded, bus routes broken, emergency vehicles blocked. And the 300,000 visitors who come annually and underpin our fragile tourist economy now in doubt. But this is a place that has...
Well, they drive there, do they?
...stepped up twice to defend our country. Once, when 1.5 million cubic metres of shingle were dredged out of the bay to build the naval dockyards in Plymouth, and again, when it was used as the training ground for the D-Day landings, at a cost of 750 American soldiers' lives. It is also the site of a unique national nature reserve with rare species found only here. This storm damage is of national significance, so I ask the Prime Minister if he will ensure that the myriad of government agencies and departments needed will work together with experts to find and fund a sustainable long-term solution to the coastal erosion that is inflicting so much...
Order! It's a very important question, but I'm sure the Prime Minister must have got it in the first 2 minutes. Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Look, I know communities have been badly affected by recent storms, and damage to the A379 is...
Someone's double parked.
...very concerning. I'm pleased that she, I think, is meeting the Roads and Floods Minister today, I think. We are investing £10 billion to improve coastal and flood defences. And I want to thank the Environment Agency staff who are working hard right now.
Yeah, there was that thing as well for a new door on the House of Lords or whatever it was. £9 million. What's it made of? Saffron? It's encrusted with mammoth blood and £9 million.
Putting extra protections in place and supporting people ahead of further wet weather.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For too long, communities like mine in Bartley Green felt decisions were made about them, not with them. 14 years of austerity did not just close neighbourhood offices and youth services, it broke trust. Through Pride in Place in Woodgate, this government is helping residents restore the Woodgate Valley Cafe and so much more. What is the Prime Minister's message to my constituents about how politics can be a force for good and that he will never walk away from my community and the country we love?
Well, I thank her for a question. My message...
So, using some of the words from this pep-up speech he made the other day, that also paraphrased Theresa May's resignation speech, is this planted question here. And, yeah. She might as well have just stood up and asked, aren't you great, and aren't you definitely not quitting, and nobody should blame you for the scandalsome affair. Absolutely not. Do you agree? What is this?
Message is that I've always believed that those with skin in the game make the best decisions about their community. And I know just how much her constituents want Woodgate Valley Visitor Centre back open. Together, I do think we can make that happen. And if you want to know, Mr. Speaker, where hope is in Britain is in our communities, and that's why we're investing so heavily in our Pride in Place initiative.
James Wilde.
Thank you very much. My constituents' mum, sister and stepfather were killed in a horrific, dangerous driving crime, and the foreign national offender was sentenced to 10.5 years. But the family have just been told that he may be released imminently in order to be deported, having served just 3 years. Will the Prime Minister look at this case and what steps can be taken to prevent that release, given such a pitiful service time? 3 years for 3 lives would be the final insult and undermine public confidence in our justice system. Prime Minister.
Can I thank him for raising what is obviously a terrible case, and I'll make sure that it's looked into if he could provide further details so we can do it as quickly as possible.
David Pinto-Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Our democracy in this House relies on the spoken word, but many with speech disabilities are left without a voice. I have a speech impediment. So do 2 million adults and 1 in 12 children. It can rob people of their confidence, lead to discrimination, and limit our opportunities in work and in public life. It's time to tear down these barriers. Can the Prime Minister share with what this government is doing to help people with speech disabilities get the support they need so their voices can be heard?
Prime Minister.
Can I start by saying he is an inspirational and powerful campaigner on this issue, and by doing what he's doing, he will give great courage to other people to take the same steps. I'm proud we're increasing the number of NHS speech and language therapists. We're trialling new ways of identifying and supporting children with speech and language needs in their early years, because I agree that every child deserves the help they need to reach their potential.
Dr. Al Pinkerton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My Surrey Heath constituent, Christopher, was discharged from the RAF in 1966 solely for being gay. But despite the government committing to restoring the medals, the berets, and indeed acknowledging the injustice of those discharged from our armed forces prior to 1967, his case has been dismissed out of hand with only a letter that contained the track changes from the template that the MOD issued. So can I ask the Prime Minister to take a personal interest in this case to ensure that it's resolved swiftly, and to allow Christopher to march on Remembrance Day as he wishes to, with his medals and his beret and his dignity restored?
Prime Minister. I will do everything I can to ensure that that happens, which is absolutely what should happen. This was an absolute scandal, the gays in the military ban, and it's absolutely right that it was overturned, but we must follow through on that, and I'll do everything I can to make sure that we deliver on what he's asked me to deliver on.
And I think that people will be saying similar things about the trans community in years to come, as now led by Trump especially, clamped down on the trans community within the armed forces. Unfortunately, on a lot of military issues, we often see the UK follow suit as well. But mark my words, you heard it here first. In years to come, I think people will be saying that it was a complete injustice at the time it happened, the same way as it was with homosexuals being persecuted, of course.
Daniel Zeichner.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Last week, the government launched a consultation on establishing a growth development corporation for Cambridge. And in the meantime, Peter Freeman, the chairman of the Cambridge Growth Company, is on the record as saying we should aim to be the most livable city in Europe. That's a fantastic ambition, one which I entirely agree with. And I'd ask the Prime Minister, given that this will be good for growth, not just for Cambridge, but for the region and the wider economy, what more can the government do to help us, not least to help that generation of young people who can barely afford a home?
Prime Minister.
Well, his constituency is already home to brilliant research, innovation and economic growth. And through a greater Cambridge Development Corporation, we'll put in the powers and resources to unlock its full potential. I want to let local people have their say. We'll make sure that we create a fair plan with attractive, well-connected and thriving new neighbourhoods.
Tom Tugendar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Not long left
Would
if
the
there's
Prime
going to be a
Minister share with me
decider.
the concern that while some
Just a few more
ambassadors
minutes.
retiring in disgrace get tens of thousands of pounds in payoff, many other civil servants are failing to get the retirement that they are due and are expected to turn to their old departments for bridging loans. This is clearly a scandal. Would he put all of his effort behind making sure that those who have served with integrity are treated with the dignity that they deserve?
Prime Minister.
Yes, we are taking steps, and he's right, we should take further steps, and I think that will be agreed across the House.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The announcement that pubs and music venues would receive a much welcomed reduction in business rates is a positive step. However, in our manifesto, we did promise root and brand.
They were forced into that because a lot of them were barred from their own locals due to disgruntled constituents.
Reform of business rates. Hospitality and leisure businesses in my Stourbridge constituency are facing a projected £20,000 increase in business rates over the next 3 years, along with employment cost increases and energy costs. Hospitality and leisure play a vital role for our communities, providing jobs and spaces to socialise. So will the Prime Minister consider a similar rates relief package for hospitality and leisure?
She's right that we need the conditions for flourishing high streets, and it underscores the importance of 6 interest rate cuts, the £5.8 billion that we put into Pride in place, and the work to put money in people's pockets. I'm pleased we've delivered a 15% cut and a 2-year freeze for pubs and live music venues. That comes on top of the £4.3 billion to support businesses and permanently lower rates for retail, hospitality and leisure properties.
Blackman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I thank the Prime Minister for raising the stabbing at Kingsbury High School yesterday. It is absolutely right that we allow the police to get on with their job of investigating this terrible atrocity, and indeed the police are out there now providing reassurance to parents and people in the community. And indeed, I'm sure I speak for the whole House when our thoughts and prayers are with the victims, their families, and also those that witness this atrocity. But will the Prime Minister now look at what needs to be done to combat knife crime across the country? It is absolutely wrong that people are carrying knives in the first place when they don't need to, and indeed they're drawn into this terrible atrocity. We owe it to the victims to ensure this happens.
Prime Minister.
Can I thank him for raising this case? And it's one of the most powerful and important things that we do as MPs in this place, particularly when there's such awful cases. And he's absolutely right. We must do everything we can to reduce knife crime. There are initiatives and steps we've taken to remove the accessibility of knives where they can be bought. We need to do much more work with our schools and young people to ensure that people don't carry knives. And we need to work with the police and law enforcement to make sure that these incidents are investigated as quickly and as effectively as possible. And I think that's a shared endeavour across the House.
Sarah Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In my constituency, the beautiful Grade 2 listed Chetwynd Bridge on the A513 between Eddingale and Alwas has been restricted to cars and light vans since October of 2023. So farmers are facing a...
It's at least time an air road has been the issue of concern with a question in this session.
25-mile diversion, and with severe flooding now hitting Eddingale multiple times a year, this vital route risks being cut off for emergency response times as well. Bridges like this, with a clear economic impact on communities, should be the focus of the government's new structures fund, which I welcome. So can I ask the Prime Minister to encourage his ministers to meet with me so that we can find a solution to this issue for my rural constituents in town?
Well, thank you for raising this issue, and just hearing her makes it absolutely clear that we need to find a solution to this. So I'll make sure that she gets the meeting that she is requesting with the relevant ministers.
And the challenger,
so move as quickly as possible.
Right at the death.
Final question.
Mr. Speaker,
Before the last question.
Rubbish is building up right beneath my very nose.
Can they hold on?
It's becoming...
4-3. All three.
Easy, Tiger.
That's all they missed, though, actually.
It's becoming a serious...
Sorry, I didn't hear what he said.
Ayab Khan, final question.
Mr. Speaker, rubbish is building up right beneath my very nose. It's becoming...
Oh, very good.
Easy, Tiger.
Yeah, absolute trash. Absolute garbage. It reeks.
It's becoming a serious problem in Birmingham. In Birmingham, bin strikes are now running over close to 2 years. So can I ask gently the Prime Minister to intervene and perhaps speak to the leader of Birmingham City Council to see if he can re-enter negotiations with Unite the Union?
Yeah, he's right to raise this, and we're doing everything we can to resolve the situation, which absolutely needs resolving.
That completes Prime
That's
Minister's
it.
questions.
Well, that was good. Save one of the best bits to the end, I guess, and a dramatic finish for Keith's catchphrases as well, as new challenger and new contender, Clear, hits the ground running with a 4-3 victory, defeating Change. It was close, but dramatic, almost injury time winner. And so there you go. That was good. Rubbish is piling up underneath my nose. It's right though. Well, incredible. Incredible. Alright, people. So let's see how that's going to affect the table. I'll just get the music up. And that will lift Clear off the bottom of the table and into the upper echelons, because with 4 mentions it will replace Plan, who has but 2, so immediately propelled into the top half. That's not a bad start. I was thinking it was going to be a draw, to be honest, and therefore both would have been replaced next week, but the challenger held on. We'll have another Keith's catchphrases next week.
We now come to Prime Minister's questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Deliver black hole plan for change. 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 Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Oh, God.
Okay, people. Let's move on to other matters, not slightly. Sticking with UK politics.
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it. Get on with it.
First up, people, we're going to have a quick blast from the past with a former appearance in the House of Commons, because it is in fact former MP, Beast of Bolsover, the mighty Dennis Skinner's 94th birthday today, so I'd like to wish Dennis a very happy birthday from Brews at 10 and My Left Eye. And let's see this classic oration from Dennis. This was during David Cameron's government, I believe.
Dragged the National Health Service in 1997 to 2010 from the depths of degradation that the Tories left it in and hoisted it back to the pinnacles of achievement. And I've got a United Nations heart bypass to prove it. And it was done by a Syrian cardiologist, a Malaysian surgeon, a Dutch doctor, a Nigerian registrar. And these two people here talk about sending them back. Months. That's the facts about UKIP as well.
Well said, Dennis, and happy birthday to you, sir. Unfortunately, lost his seat in the 19 election. He was good though, wasn't he? Was indeed.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Alright, people. Some polling coming up. Generally like to have a quick look at the national polls after PMQs. This is a YouGov one, which would be slightly more reserved than the dramatic Find Out Now polls that we've seen quite a bit of recently. But still thoroughly appreciate Stats for Lefties for sharing the data. Go and give them a follow on your social media at Lefty Stats, I believe is the handle. But this one's still showing Reform with a clear lead, 313 seats over Lib Dem in second, Labour in third. Not very far in front of the Green Party, who look set to gain 55 seats according to this one. Tories down 75, SNP wipe out in Scotland, of course. Plaid gaining 3 more seats, but Independents losing 5. Could that be more likely because of recent inclusions in the Greens and, of course, your party, who don't actually feature on this poll, but the last time we looked, or the last time they did appear on a poll on stream, what was it, 0.5%? We'll see, though, where your party are concerned. So Lib Dem will be the official opposition to Reform. If that one's true, dread the thoughts. I'm sure a few people are checking the passport renewal dates. From stats and polls on to results now. We'll be looking at the hot seat, Gorton and Denton, in a moment, but we do actually have a by-election result that's coming in Pembrokeshire, in Fishguard, which I assure you isn't the name of a town in George R.R. Martin's fictional Westeros. Ishgard. And quite a sensational result as well. Let's see what's happening. It's again for Plaid Cymru against Labour, or over Labour I should say, with 33.8%. And Labour down in fourth with 11.1%, a minus 47.9% swing in the negative direction, that is. Wow. Wow. So that is quite a scalp. Tories also losing 31.9% of the votes. Reform with 12.7%. So in this instance, it not being much of a two-horse race between Reform and Plaid Cymru. So well done to Plaid. I'd like to see more results like that in Wales. Yeah, 80% down, Andy Carter correctly pointing out in chat. For the Tories, just 9.2 left. Well, that's catastrophic by any accounts, it has to be said. So let's see some more of that in Wales. On to the current hot seat, with the by-election coming up. Well, it'll be 2 weeks tomorrow, won't it? Here in Manchester, in Gorton and Denton. We wait with bated breath for the result of this one. It's clearly between Reform and the Green Party, who are the bookies' favourites at the moment, by the way, still. Even though Reform are ahead in some of the polling. I'll let you decide who you think's more reliable source. So my point being that Labour should simply withdraw, drop out, currently polling on about 9-10%, depending on which pollster you refer to. That could be crucial where the Green Party is concerned. Not just what they've done in government, what they did with Andy Burnham, of course, has been a factor in this, and of course the events of the last week or so, notwithstanding. And that will indeed still echo out on the doorsteps. In fact, I hear tell that the phrase nonce protector is coming up quite a lot on the doorsteps of Gorton and Denton here in Manchester. So let's hear some more from Gorton and Denton residents. Actually, this is a bit of Vox Pops from Politics UK, who went down and spoke to some residents. I think this is from yesterday.
Nigel Farage as Prime Minister. How does that sound?
I'm leaving the country.
I think, personally, that it's been bought out by probably the Russians.
All the rest of them skirt around, don't answer the questions, and you just get sick of hearing them.
Do you feel like things are getting better or worse in Gorton and Denton?
It's gradually worse, but I feel like it's not a massive difference.
I think it must obviously be getting worse because the whole country has been getting worse. And you can see in terms of the failure of the law enforcement, the two-tier, the injustice, the lack of fairness, and the economy.
I'll say a bit of both. There's some good sides to it, there's some bad sides to it. There's stuff happening.
So I'm not sure if that... Sorry to interrupt. Has that guy got some campaign leaflets in his hand? There's something in his hand, like a batch of flyers or leaflets. I don't know. Who is this guy?
The lack of fairness.
And it says Labour something. Let's try and get a not blurry freeze frame. I didn't notice that the first time around. He looks a bit like Andy Burnham, actually. The plot thickens. Oh, nothing gets past my left eye, I'll tell you this, people. Something Labour comes boats. He's a reform campaigner. Something Labour comes boats, and you can see a bit of turquoise teal that slipped through his fingers there that he's tried to cover up and failed in doing so. So that's a reform campaigner. Why are Politics UK vox-popping Reform UK campaigners? And there's nothing, apart from the subtitles up there, to say that it's a Reform campaigner. Is that what it looks like to you people? Or is it perhaps a campaigner for another party and it is doing them like in a list, like one strip per critique of party you can see there? I don't know. But he certainly looks like a campaigner.
And the economy.
I'll say a bit of both. There's some good sides to it, there's some bad sides to it. There's stuff happening right now in politics, it's quite complicated.
What's your reaction to Labour blocking Andy Burnham from standing in this constituency?
I don't know. Andy Burnham, I like what he does for Manchester, so I don't know, I'm a bit torn about it because I think he's very good for what he does in the north, and I wouldn't like to see him go elsewhere, to be perfectly honest.
I think it's disgusting. How have they got that power? How can they block anybody? Isn't it a free country with, freedom of speech?
Oh, goodness. Please do consider writing some words on a placard and going into a public space with them, for example, or maybe research the National Executive Committee that currently exists in Starmer's Labour Party, and you'll find that there are many more examples, but with those two, that'll answer the question.
We know a lot of other countries don't have that. We're still supposed to have it, but we don't. Having worked in local government for a long time, too long, I know exactly what they're like.
From Labour's point of view, I think it's a good view because they'd have lost. And it just shows that they don't have enough quality in their 300 plus Labour MPs to have a good rival for.
Well, he's not
Starmer.
Labour, so because he's talking about Labour in the third person, whatever.
Shows you that the quality of their MPs is just missing. Their patriotism is missing, and they're just not serving the country.
Do you think Keir Starmer needs more time, or is his time up?
I think he's done. I think he won't be elected.
Especially the younger generation, they're coming more, not extreme, that's not the right word, but more, they want change immediately. And I don't think if he stays this neutral for so long, it's going to work in his favour.
I think that a lot of people forget that it was 14 years of the Tories mess, and he's trying to unravel that. And they've basically just given over a year, maybe 2 years, whatever, to try and get that sorted out. It's going to take a lot longer than that.
Who do you think you'll be voting for in this election? Will you be voting at all?
Probably not. I know it's a wasted vote. I've just got to the stage where I think I don't want to be responsible for putting another
It's an abstention, not a wasted vote.
idiot in power.
I'm stuck between Green Party and Reformed.
None of them really.
How? It's not as they're almost the same. I can't decide. I can't choose between the two. If you excuse me, letting your principles guide you, and remember, like we always say with any election, whether it's general or local, it's not like predicting who you think is going to win the Premier League or wanting your favourite team to win the Premier League or whatever. But by principle alone, how can someone be undecided if they're going to vote for the Greens or Reform? Because it's pretty, let's be honest, distant polarisation between the two. That's interesting to hear from a local resident.
Appeal, to be honest. Yeah, I feel like
Hope he
they all
votes
work
for the
their own
Greens,
interests.
to be honest.
I don't feel they represent.
At the minute, neither the main two parties really appeal to me. In the past, I voted Liberal Democrats, Green, so it depends what each one is saying when it comes to...
Well, Lib Dem don't have a fighting chance, and they should withdraw as well, so vote Green.
the manifestos, I guess.
Probably the Green Party.
Oh, good for that guy. Interesting as well that he thought people were being a bit too tough on Starmer for only having a year and a half to sort it out, but in the end, he's run out of patience himself, and rightly so. So well done. So the Green Party. There weren't a great amount of definitive responses to the question, but if anything, that leans towards the Greens, which is how the bookies have it, which is what we're hoping for as well, because this is a massive litmus test, this by-election. I know it's a bit nerdy, but I've not been this excited about a by-election for some time. It's a hot seat indeed, people. But apparently, it's too hot for Matt Goodwin. Yes, indeed, people. The hustings, the first hustings took place in Gorton and Denton just the other night, and he chickened out. He didn't show up. Let's see what's happening with this one, people. God. To read it out. Tempted to put on some sort of twatty voice, but I won't. He says, well, I might be slightly sarcastic. As you know, from my media contributions, I've never been one to shy away from a free and fair debate, he says, in a letter explaining why he's going to shy away from a free and fair debate. However, everything that comes before the word but, or however in this case, is bullshit. I have serious concerns. He's very concerned about the impartiality of the hustings that have been organised for tonight. Previous statements by the organising group give the clear impression that a fair and level platform will not be provided for all candidates, so on that basis, I will not be attending. I look forward to future opportunities to discuss the issues that matter most to those in the local area and answer questions from local residents in a genuinely neutral setting, including at the forthcoming Manchester Evening News hustings and at the BBC's by-election debates on Monday. I cannot wait for these debates. Tonight I shall be canvassing local people, as I have been doing 3 times a day since this campaign began. I am very much looking forward to the forthcoming debates. So he chickened out. One rumour is that apparently he requested an exclusive green room, but was denied that. Nobody, got exclusive facilities or whatever, and whatever rider he was expecting probably wasn't fulfilled either, and that was beyond the pale for Matthew. I really hope that's true. I'll just put the cherry on top of it. So he only wants to go to, establishment-y setups, and that's pretty much it. Not one that's going to be packed full of local residents, for example, and to have to directly face Hannah Spencer. Yeah, what a chicken.
He's an asshole, sir.
What are your thoughts about that? Let us know in the chat or in the comments if you're watching back later on. Just a quick reminder, super chats and super stickers are open if you're watching live, and super thanks are also available if you're watching back later on. Please consider using the Buy Me a Coffee page. You'll find the link in the description of this stream. Solidari-Tea, and whilst you're hitting thumbs up, please spend some of your hype points on helping promote the video if you have the hype feature available on your device or in your country of viewing. Just wedging a slight bit of self-promotion there. More on that hot seat to come. Like I said, just 2 weeks away now. And Goodwin is now literally dodgy. You can add that to the list. But we're going to go over to the States next. Just with a quick look at Start again. Good evening. You're watching the Brews at 10 on my left eye. I'm going to have to do all of PMQs again, aren't I? God. No, seriously though. Bondi's testimony in front of Congress. And I've only seen a few excerpts. I'm going to share one with you now. Yeah, just the one. The hour grows late. That was such a action-packed PMQs. But take a look at this. She's just so theatrical and reactionary and unbelievable as well. It's the main thing you should remember. But this is Ted Lieu, who pointed something out to her very clearly and very directly. This is concerning the Epstein files, of course. And she does a very poor job. She does a very poor job. Apparently, people stormed out, even Republican congresspersons left at one point because Bondi was being that out of line. And the whole thing turned into a complete farce. Because what do you expect when you put a clown on the stand, I guess? Let's see what's happening.
Done. There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that. This has been the most transparent presidency. He's the one that asked that those files.
I'm claim my time. I got your answer. You said there's no evidence.
Trump asked
Mr. Chairman, please stop the clock. Stop the clock.
The legislation. This is
time
belongs to the gentleman from California.
Okay. I'm going to put up another document from a witness who called the FBI's National Threat Operations Center because I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein file.
Don't you ever accuse me of a crime.
I believe you just lied.
Yeah, this isn't some argument in a car park or something or whatever. This is Congress, and she shouts over people, starts acting with, absolute contempt for the proceedings. For don't you dare call me a. Well, he's about to present her with direct evidence that she has in fact lied under oath. Take a look at this, people. Not just revealing that fact, but also the contents of this document that you're about to see are equally shocking as well. For Bondi and others to try and defend Trump and all of the things that he's accused of, despite the evidence presented to them, I just think is absolutely revolting, and you can barely even consider these absolute ghouls to be human beings at all.
Under oath, and this is all on videotape. You said there's no evidence of a crime. I'm showing you. Here is a witness statement who called into the FBI's Threat Operations Center. He drove Donald Trump around in a limo. He overheard what Donald Trump said to Jeffrey on his cell phone. He was so angry, he was going to stop the limo and hurt Donald Trump. And he met a girl who said she was raped by Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. She later had her head blown.
Jesus Christ.
She later had her head blown off, and officers at the scene said that could not have been suicide.
You getting this? This is the sort of shit that Bondi's defending. What a disgrace. What, this is we're talking about the President of the United States of Bastard America here. Pardon my French. The redacted all over there as well. What? And these are direct communications between Trump and Epstein discussing this sort of thing, overheard by a driver, by a limo driver in this case. I think he said it was. Goodness knows what other things staffers here. But these people are so entitled and powerful and rich that they think that they can talk openly about it behind closed doors in front of all the stuff, you know, with total impunity. Now, they might not see them as such. They might see them as robots. But the people who actually serve them, who drive them around, who, you know, prepare and serve them the meals and whatnot, wait on the tables, do the laundry. God fucking hell. They are real. They are human beings, and they do have memories and eyes and ears, like we're seeing here. This is horrific. This is horrific. But it just really bores my piss every time. I'm not only trying to defend it, but in such a pathetically dramatic fashion as well, as though her performance or her outrage can overcome demonstrable facts here. How can you be that pig-headed and have the hubris to think that you're more convincing than this? And it is here in black and white with official Bureau of Investigation letterheading at the top. How more undeniable can it get? Pam Bondi will try.
No one at the Department of Justice interviewed this witness. You need to interview this witness immediately. Epstein should rot in hell, so should the men who patronized his operation. And as we say here today, there are over 1,000 sex trafficking victims, and you have not held a single man accountable. Shame on you. If you had any decency, you would resign right after this hearing concludes.
It's done.
Directly calling for this piece of shit to resign, and quite rightly so. Absolutely revolting. And I could probably provide 20 clips like this. I guess I've not seen the full hearing. Like I said, I had some of it on in the background earlier. I watched a few bits of it as well. But just from those few moments and this clip here, it's just almost undescribably bad. The disgusting behaviour, as Lost Missionary correctly points out in the chat there, yeah. No filter. Just no filter. No morals either. Get her off my screen. Yeah, they do sell the souls for cash, and they do it pretty cheap as well. They do here in the UK. On the themes of unbelievably disgusting, I'm going to play a small excerpt from the Channel 4 Dispatches documentary about the prescription of pal action, which I am going to check out the rest of myself. Started watching that yesterday, having something of a personal investment in this as well, of course, being part of Defend Our Juries, who protest against the prescription of pal action. And even considering everything I know already, the things that are revealed here in this documentary are shocking, and again, this is a country that has the absolute gall to pretend that it's democratic and fair, especially where protest rights are concerned, for example. Let's see some of this. I think it's available on More4, the More4 app, if any of you use that.
The government repeatedly did say that there was this disturbing plans for future attacks, that you know, if the public knew what we knew, then they may not be supportive of this organization.
Well, I regret that. I don't think it helps to sort of hint that there are sort of major pieces of sort of potentially secret information that are hidden away. And the way in which the government has put their prescription case is to say that they are involved in terrorism because they cause serious damage to property.
But what you're saying, it just seems so different from how the government has described their reasoning. I mean, just think about the fact that the Home Office briefed some journalists that they were investigating links between Palestine Action and Iran. I mean,
yeah, I don't understand that, and I think,
was that a mistake?
Yeah, it's a sort of nudge, wink, wink. Well,
Yeah.
it's wrong. There's a challenge at the moment to the banning of Palestine Action in the High Court. The High Court has power to look at secret evidence. So if there is secret evidence, the High Court will be able to look at that and determine it. But I don't agree with the idea of sort of nudge, wink, wink.
And if there is any secret evidence about Iran or Hamas...
Well, essentially what's described as nudge, wink, wink means we're just making this up, basically. You can do away with decades, arguably hundreds of years of a hard fight for justice, what with a nudge, wink, wink. That's unbelievable.
We won't be able to find it out.
No, of course, the links to Iran were, of course, bullshit. We all knew that at the time. Supposed secret documents pertaining to the links, undescribed, unnamed evidence that they can't tell us about that led to the decision. It was all bollocks. We knew that at the time. These testimonies in the documentary, the bits that I've seen so far, only go to reinforce that, and really shouldn't be happening in any free country.
Will we?
No, I mean, I don't think you should get too excited about that.
You don't think there's anything there?
Not that I'm aware of.
The government appeared to have briefed the media on potential Iranian links, spoken about the group's willingness to use violence and disturbing plans for future attacks. But these things aren't supported by their own independent advisor, nor their own internal intelligence report. Could the government have done this because they knew that a ban based on property damage alone would be unpopular?
Yeah, because it would be an even further affront to justice. But that is what has happened. Just the optics about it coming from the Labour Party is the only difference. Ultimately, they have prescribed a non-violent direct action group for property damage and put them in the same classification as other extremist groups on the same within the same legislation which prescribed PAL action. Was also a prescription of a neo-Nazi group. And the exact name of the group eludes me at the moment. I'm paraphrasing, but it was something ridiculous like the super crazy bastard murder squad or something like that. If you do actually recall the name of that organisation, that shouldn't be in the same classification as PAL action, then let me know in the chat. The fight still goes on, the case still goes on. against the prescription, the hunger strikers as well had their demands met. There are some positives to focus on people, including the tremendous amount of support that Pal Action have received. Like I said earlier, Defend Our Juries, other organisations really fighting against this, because if it, whatever your protest might concern, if it could happen to Pal Action, it could happen to so many other groups.
On with it. Yes, get on with it! Get on with it!
Well, we have to be getting on with things. It's just gone 6 minutes past midnight now. So, shout out to the members on the channel. Whilst I'll casually remind you there are just a few more moments to vote in the poll, although it seems pretty decisive at the moment. The nays currently still have it with 74%, thinking that this is Starmer's final PMQs. He does seem to have bought himself a bit of time, that's for sure. One final reminder, people, please do consider using the hype function. If you hit thumbs up on some of our recent content, it should give the option to spend some hype points. You'll get those topped up weekly. Consider using some of this week's budget on my left eye. Thank you very much for all your contributions, everybody. On tonight's stream as well, gifted memberships now taking us up to 187. Awesome stuff. So those names will be added to this list of marvellous members. Solidari-Tea to the expanding brew crew. And Solidari-Tea to Graham as well for a super chat. Awesome stuff. Solidari-Tea as always, brother. Yeah, fist in the air for Palestine. Viva Viva Palestina. Let's give Graham a big up in the chat, please, everybody. And thanks again to all members on the channel. You can hit the, not the perks button, that's if you're already a member, sorry. If you're not a member, hit the join button. That's the one. To find out more about the perks. We will be rounding things off here in a moment, people, but remain seated. If you sat down, just stay put is what I'm getting at, because we're gonna hopefully raid into another channel. Let's see who's around. Let's go raiding. Let's who. It's loading. Might be jinxing it very late on, but we've not had any buffering on tonight's stream. Just I was going to point that out earlier, but didn't want to jinx it. Not that I'm superstitious, but I think it's late enough in the stream to say that it's been quite a success where that's concerned. Great job to the tech team here. Because we've certainly had a few recently. It is still showing people's handles instead of your usernames in the chat, which it has been for some weeks now. Come on. Sorry, I'm shouting at the... not shouting, but... There we go. And No Justice and Kevin Logan are still live. Okay, we'll go to Kev again. They will be dual streaming, as it were, I'd imagine. We're going to give Kevin Logan a bit of a prop up, a name that's familiar to most of you, I'm sure. But if not, do subscribe to that awesome channel. And he'll be in conversation with No Justice at No Justice NTG. Do go and check out that awesome content as well. Co-winners of Alternative News Channel of the Year 2025. Great stuff. There'll be more from us on My Left Eye through the week, vids and streams, etc. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out. As for proceedings this evening, though, that brings things to a close. Stick around for the raid and post-credit shenanigans, people. I've been your humble host, Lefty. You've all been fantastic in the chat. This has been the Brews at 10 on My Left Eye. Power to the people. Free Palestine, Yemen, Sudan, and everywhere else, and all of the Filton 24. And don't let the bastards grind you down. Good night. 74% winner in the poll. The nays have it. The nays have it. Good night.
The door is open and you can leave.